everyone, and welcome to, I guess, our 38th episode of the 1973 podcast. And guess who's back? Back again. Chris is back. Tell a friend. He's got his swag on. We all got our swag on. Let's get this. Let's let's get this band rolling. Well, first off, we want to. It's not a congratulations because he didn't actually play any games, but lifetime Rangers fan Brad got his wish. He killed a couple chickens, did some voodoo, and the Rangers.
Candle holders, they're great wedding presents,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just really quick, Brad, as a lifetime fan of Texas Rangers, how does that make you feel that they finally won?
I mean, waited an entire lifetime, got to share it with my son. I let him stay up. I skipped a little bit of work, went into work late the next day. He got to go into school late. I was like, it was once in a lifetime, buddy. Like, if they win, like, we're not getting up and going to school and work on time. We had the 2010 and 11 seasons where we lost both times, the heartbreak of that. And I was like, I'll never see it again, Then we went through, record losing seasons the last 2 years and just now championship, man. Till the day I die, I will relive that World Series for the rest of my life. I cannot stop watching the highlights.
I think one of the, being a wrestling fan or sports fan, people always are drawn to different signs that people have had in the crowd for different things. And the one that always stands out to me is there was a New York Rangers fan, when they won in '94, was this older man that had this big sign that said, "Now I can die in peace." And I always remember that. So that kind of sticks with me when I talk to fans that, they've never won anything. And then, when they finally do, you kind of be like, that's the way it should be.
Well, like fans of the Texas Rangers or other perennially bad teams that like always suck and never are contenders, but the fans stick it out. I feel like those are real sports fans, though. You know what I mean?
Lions fans?
Like who?
Like Lions fans?
Yeah, like they're hanging out. They know there's no shot in hell of a championship, but they're faithful and dedicated, and they stand by it year after year.
All three of them.
That's how I feel with the Rangers.
Yeah, all three fans that they have.
Yeah.
You can't see me.
Yeah, right? So real special this week. We did an interview. It's going to replace Ed's email this week. We were able to sit down with a childhood friend and talk about his journey through his weight loss with probably the new school style of weight loss. He jumped on the carnivore diet. Just a little quick story on that. He hit 50 in March and said 300 pounds was not cutting it for him anymore, and he had always been a yo-yo dieter. And I'm going to kind of segue it into Ed's kind of intro into it. And if you're one of our YouTube followers, you'll be able to see the interview on our YouTube cast. So Ed, want to take it away with Ed's bag this week?
Sure, Ed's Bag. It's Ed's Bag, brought to you by Brock Street Brewing from Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Check out their flagship beer, the Blonde, and their 2 gold medal winning beers, the Irish Red and the Pilsner. BrockStreetBrewing.com. So this interview is with Dennis Rose, good friend of ours. It was really truly inspirational to hear what he had to say last night. So here we go. Let's kick it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special interview segment of what is usually Ed's mailbag. So we're going to dive deep into a childhood friend story, a good turnaround, if you want to call that, life-changing journey, I should say. We're here with my buddy Dennis. We grew up with him. A lot of funny stories, a lot of fun times, memories growing up, a lot of good movie watching with this man. Up the Creek, Animal House, Bachelor Party, Slapshot, you name it. We used to watch a plethora of go-to movies back in the day. I mean, renting movies, Friday night, sleeping over my house. We had a ton of stuff, BMX bikes, mini bikes, tons of stuff. So I wanted to bring Dennis on and talk mostly about his journey through the going over the 50-year mark, and there must have been life changing. I don't know, come to Jesus moment, as they call it, of why uh, he was chosen to go down this path. So, Dennis, just want to introduce yourself and maybe just give a little bit of getting us going on this little interview.
Yeah, 100%. So, as you know, as Andy alluded to, I am a lifelong friend of this man as well as Ed over there. We spent our entire childhood together. I've had amazing times, right? Grown up, I moved out to Chicago soon after I got out of college and started working. Got married, have built a life out here. Just celebrated my 24th wedding anniversary. Got 5 children. I did turn 50 this year. Now, essentially my whole adult life, and most of my childhood, I've been overweight. It's something that I've struggled with routinely. I've always been a person who could lose weight when I wanted to. Tried several times, you lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, something happens, you kind of fall off the bandwagon. Maybe something great happens in life and you want to reward yourself. So you do that, and that reward turns into just falling back into your old ways. So just 9 months ago, at the end of January, I weighed over 300 pounds. I was 306 pounds. I was turning 50 this year, which I did in March. And
You're an old bastard, by the way.
What's up?
You're an old bastard.
100%. 100%.
Old bastard, man. Welcome to the old bastard club, man. It's fun.
I prefer now to say 50 and fabulous, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This is what we're gonna go with.
Putting that corporate spin on it. I see.
But I wanted to make another good faith effort to lose weight, which I've done countless times. And so I decided, I researched some diets, some programs, and I basically went into like a ketogenic diet. I followed that for about 3 months. Actually, and that is basically a lot of fat. You eat a lot of fat. You don't eat any grains. You don't eat any sugar. It's mainly fat and protein. I allowed myself like 25 total carbohydrates a day. And I started to see some results. I started to lose weight. So that motivated me, and I started working out. I worked out with my son, who's one of my sons. I've got 5 children, but one of my sons who's in high school. He's really into working out. He's very fit. He's very athletic. So I started working out with him every single night. We would go and train at the gym, and I just kept working my program. Kept losing weight, kept losing weight, kept losing weight. So it made it easier for me to stick on. I got about Now my initial goal, that the commitment I made to myself was I want to lose 100 pounds in 1 year. Okay. I ended up losing 100 pounds in 6 months. Okay. And then at that point, I said, okay, let's, step this up a notch. So I kind of started researching other diet programs, other lifestyles, and I found an eating program called the carnivore diet. So essentially what that is now there's different variations on it. There's different things that are allowed on it, not allowed on it, but it's primarily a meat-based diet or an animal product diet. So my entire nutrition profile consists of beef, so either ground beef or steak, bacon, eggs, butter, salt, and water. And that's the entirety of what I put into my body now on a daily basis. When I initially started out on my diet, I ate 2 meals a day. So I would do intermittent fasting. So I would fast for like 16 hours and I would give myself an 8-hour eating window. And I, made that a little bit more extreme. And I went to something called OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. And I'm currently still doing that. I've been doing that for about 4 months now. And I only eat 1 meal a day. I eat it at night. Like as soon as we're done, I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna cook my food and I'm gonna eat my dinner. So I just eat the one time a day. I eat about 2,200 calories, and then I fast for 23 hours and I don't eat anything. The only thing I drink is water. I've given up soda, coffee. I don't eat any sugar. I don't eat any processed foods, no grains, none of it. If it's one ingredient feeding is what I do. And this has worked out tremendously for me. I've gone from 306 pounds all the way down to I currently weigh 168 pounds. And that's what I consider my maintenance weight. That's what I'm going to try to stick to. And it's been truly life changing. Because I've been an overweight adult my whole life. You guys know me. I was even overweight as a kid, right?
Right, right.
And it's just I failed so many times that I finally changed my relationship with food, and now I view it as not a reward, which I used to do. And it's purely, I look at it as fuel. Once I could make that mindset switch, it all became easy for me. So if I can, like, by doing this, spurn any one person into action, then that's awesome. So that's kind of why I'm trying to tell my story and, explain how I got the results I got. And if I can help anybody, I'm more than happy to do that.
So before I have Ed jump in with a couple of questions, what I want to stress is it's from knowing you as a kid and always knowing, your weight fluctuation, especially like even when you first got out of high school, you had a great change in your physique when you started going to the gym, and then like you said, life happens and things and changing the mindset. But your sister had a turnaround, few years, well, more than a few years ago, where she just got into fitness and she changed her habits and everything, and you saw the results with that. You still see the results with that when I see her.
Yeah.
Which is, it's all motivational too. And it's great when I see it. I read so many things on the carnivore diet. Joe Rogan always talks about it. The ice bath is a big thing now. If you, Dennis, the question I have for you, if you had to, other than the physical look of the change, and what is the one thing other than, the physical side of it that you are the most happy with compared to last year? What is the biggest change other than your appearance?
Yeah.
And health wise, what is the one major thing that you have benefited from this?
I would say it's something mental. Like I just feel like I'm a better dad. I'm a better husband. I'm a better friend. Um, I'm more productive at work. Like my mental clarity is just so much better than it used to be. That is a big part of it. Almost as much as the physical is how much it's changed me mentally in a positive aspect.
Fantastic. Ed, it's your chance to shine. Well, what do you got for Dennis as a
No, yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome work, Dennis.
Thank you.
So what my question is that, so moving forward, what's the plan for kind of like a maintenance phase and that type of thing? Because, I know that I know that I've done like a paleo diet for myself quite a few times. That's worked really well for me. Where it really has you shop the outside of the grocery store, where you're not having anything processed. You're not having any dairy. You're not having anything like that. As far as dairy, obviously you're gonna have ghee, but you're not gonna have actual proteins that are in the butter. So are you planning on going back to more of like a more of a maintenance kind of a diet when you get back? Or are you going to stay on the carnivore diet, like in what I mean by the maintenance type of thing, like a 40-30-30, 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat, to kind of round out the diet, make sure your blood work is good, that type of thing, I guess, as you go forward through this.
Yeah, I've it's funny that you talk about blood because I think it was a couple of months ago, I had a doctor's visit and I got all of my, my full panel done
Sure.
on like my cholesterol and triglycerides and, my fasting blood sugar and my A1C, and all of those things were far and away better than they have ever been. So I'm happy about that. Um, I do want to try to reintegrate some fruits and some forms of vegetables back into my diet. I'm probably never going to go back to eating like like breads and grains and things like that because they cause a lot of inflammation in my body, and they're really trigger points for me
Sure.
to kind of fall off the wagon and go back, and that's
Right. And I understand.
what I don't want to do, right?
Well, I mean, a
So
lot of it is that commercialized bread has a ton of sugar in it, that type of thing. I'm sure you're not talking about like actual homemade bread, that type of thing that pretty much has 4 or 5 ingredients in it.
right,
I,
right.
like stuff that you actually buy off the shelf, that type of thing. I,
Yeah.
and the carbs I'm talking about, like kind of going back to like, sweet potato, white potato, that type of thing, because it's just, and my question to you is this, because this is sustainable. I mean, but how long is it sustainable until it kind of gets to the point where it's like, okay, I need to make a little bit of a change. I do need to have some greens in my body. I need to have some orange things in my body. I need to have some red and those and purples into my body, because those are important to you for your overall health as you move forward.
Yeah, sure. Great point. I do, like I said, gonna try to reintegrate some of those foods and see what kind of impact they have on my body. I'm a big calories in, calories out guy. It's how I was able to lose so much weight. So I pretty much track everything that goes into my mouth and how many calories I push out through my, exercise and all of that stuff.
Well, that right there, I mean, that is, I mean, if you go into any type of personal training type of study guide or whatnot, I mean, the truest way to lose weight is by tracking your calories and tracking your exercise and tracking what you eat. Because when you put it in your hand and you actually break it down to your macros, and you can actually see what you're putting into your body. And the number one thing that they always say is one macronutrient in excess will create increased body weight and fat. So I mean, that's why I asked that question. So that was a great lead in.
Yeah, 100%. Like once I hit my goal weight, which was just like a few weeks back,
Sure,
I
congratulations.
was like, thank you. I just decided, okay, now I just want to I don't want to lose any more weight. I'm comfortable right here. If anything, like I want to try to like maybe add some mass at this point and maybe bulk up a little bit, which I know takes a long time, right? But I through tracking all of my macros and calories, I was able to find, okay, how many calories can I eat with the amount of exercise that I'm doing on a weekly basis and maintain this body weight. So that took me a couple of weeks to figure out, and I've kind of settled in on that like 2100 to
Sure.
2200 calories a day for me is what works. I got this handy dandy Garmin watch that's just like the
Which
greatest
one
thing
you got?
ever. What's that?
Which Garmin you got?
I got a Phoenix 7.
The Phoenix is a nice piece of machinery, man.
It gives
Time to
me
climb mountains, that thing.
so much information. It's ridiculous. It's way more accurate than my Apple Watch ever was. And it's just provided me with so much feedback that it's really helped me get to where I'm sitting today. So I'm really happy for having that. So you want to have all the tools at your disposal. You want to have a community. So that's why, like, I'm really big on Twitter with, getting information, following people, being accountable to people, having people be accountable to me, because I don't know everything. I'm just figuring it out. I just started doing this because I just didn't want to be so fat, and I've really developed a lot of great relationships over Twitter with people, and I've learned, a ton. So it's just been like a wild 9 months. It's funny because I just went to my brother-in-law's wedding last weekend, and I've seen people that I haven't seen in years, maybe even more than a decade, some of the relatives. And honestly, these people just did not even recognize me. And it felt so freaking good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was okay. And I didn't even eat the meal that was provided at the wedding. And that was okay. And I got some kind of side eye looks about it, and I got some questions about it. And I just, explained to, those people, like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I got to where I am. And I said, this is a choice I have to make. And there's always some weird social awkwardness that goes on with the way I eat. But once I explain it to people and once they understand, like, the journey I've been on and like the results I've gotten, people are like, well, it's working for you, right? So just keep, doing you, right? So,
Yeah, I think the hottest thing with society, especially when you grow up, probably in a odd generation, and if you come from an ethnic or minority background, they're so ingrained with eat more, eat more, eat
yeah,
more, eat more. You're too thin, eat more, or
yeah,
it's never, So I think the way that side of society pushes food, especially on kids, I think it creates. I'm not saying that kids shouldn't eat because when you're young you can pile on a lot of stuff and still stay,
yeah,
but it sets a precedent going forward that I've read things about breakfast. The term comes from breaking your fast in the morning, and all that stuff with all these cereal companies, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day, all started through marketing and commercialization of how the 3 meals a day and the food pyramid with school and all that. It's all when you look at it, it's kind of sad to say that maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but it's kind of set in a way to kind of set you up for you know juvenile diabetes, or if you're a type of person that's stagnant in life, you sit a lot, and it's tough to lose the weight when society is set that way. So I mean, there was not a lot of juvenile obesity when we were kids. I mean,
But we're always outside. That's why.
yeah,
that's what I was kind
We're
of
always
building
outside.
to. Yeah,
And to take to your point, Andy, a lot of it too was just that we actually ate real food.
yeah,
And so the thing about it is just that, you eat, when you go to the store and you buy, stuff that's already pre-made and prepared that way, you really don't know what ingredients are in there. And that, so going to what Dennis has done with the carnivore diet, I've done the paleo diet, and now I'm kind of on a 40-30-30 kind of a matrix. It's kind of one of those things where I tend to eat a lot more stuff from the outside of the grocery store, not so much as in it on the inside aisles. And so even when you go to the prepared food, I mean, they have a list of ingredients on there, but they can still put other stuff in there that they don't have to tell you about.
yeah.
And I mean, if you walk down the cereal aisle, 90% of that aisle, it's junk food, but it's fortified with vitamins.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not really healthy for anybody.
And
And
if you look at it, especially the stuff that you buy for kids now, it's so much junk. I mean, from the cereal to granola bars to all the stuff that even like the Mott's applesauce and things like that. It's all, you think you're doing the right thing, but it's all marketed in a way to subliminally sell it to you that you think you're doing the right thing, and you're really kind of not. But
Yeah.
it's like Dennis said, everybody has a trigger. I mean, whether if you have a hard time with drinking, it's not that you can't, once you say, okay, I'll just have one, people just can't have one with certain things. And whether, like, I know the hardest thing for me to kick, I could probably jump on a great diet, but the pizza would be the one thing that's the hardest for me to kick. It's like, that's the one thing I've loved since I was a kid. And I still, after I haven't had pizza in a week, I'm like, already, I should get a pizza or something like that. So,
No, I get it. I get it. And I'm the same way. Like, I love pizza. Um, but those foods got me to be 306 pounds, right? Like, I just couldn't manage my metabolism eating those foods. And I just came to that realization, made a conscious decision to change what I put in my body. I was able to stick with it, be committed to it, and kind of like got through to the other side, right? Where it doesn't own you anymore, where it doesn't control your life anymore. And I've noticed that my children now, seeing the way I eat and the way I live, have kind of changed their eating habits as well. And there's a lot more of the healthier food in my house than there used to be. Because when I go to the store to stock up for them or whatever, I'm mindful of the things that I'm buying, and I'm trying to, get more healthy things for them, more fruits, get them to eat more vegetables, less, chips and cookies and all that crap that is just part of that standard American diet that's just completely garbage for you. Get that crap out of my house. And but still allowing them to be kids, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. To circle back to, like the cookie thing. I mean, there's a piece in it that there's a book called It Starts with Food, and there's an actual section called The Grumpy Cookie. And basically what it says is that, when we're little, you have a bad day, mom plunks down the cookies down in front of you, right? Makes you feel better, right? So all of a sudden, become adults, I mean, all of a sudden it sets that psychological trap in your mind and that type of thing. Because when you're a kid, you have 3 cookies. As an adult, I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
it's a sleeve.
I would have a whole stack of freaking 10
sleeve.
Oreos and a glass of milk, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that would be like the standard thing at like 11 o'clock at night, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Like, and those things make you feel good, right?
Right.
They make you feel good. There's an emotional response that people have to food.
Yeah.
Once you can change your thinking to only look at the food as fuel, you can do anything. That's
right.
what I was able to do. And that's what I've been able to do.
So Dennis, so got like 5 minutes left. So I just have one quick question. Hopefully it's not that long of an answer, but energy wise, what is your energy level now compared to a year ago?
It's through the roof. It's tremendous. I've never had more energy. I've never had more mental clarity. I sleep better. I sleep harder. I wake up feeling refreshed. I can get through my day. I go to work. I do my 10 hours at work. Then I go right to the gym. Then and I'll do an hour and a half. I work out 7 days a week. I'll lift weights 6 days a week, and I'll do cardio 7 days a week. And then I come home and I eat and I sleep and I recharge and I rinse and repeat every single day. So my energy levels haven't been better.
But I think Dennis, though, you're hitting your calories correctly, though. That's the thing is that I mean, I don't think you've gotten any taller. So you're about what, 5'9", and you're walking around about 170 pounds. So,
yeah.
Working out, for an hour and a half, I mean, we're talking 300 to 500 calories burned in those workouts. Basically for basic metabolic rate, you should be right around 1,800 calories. So, I mean, you're fueling yourself properly. And the thing is like, you're also not putting anything processed into your body. And those chemicals that are in the food are really one of the biggest sleep disruptors that are out there, and that people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so that's my take on that. And then one other thing too, is that your watch, I mean, the best way to describe the difference between a Garmin watch and an Apple Watch: Garmin watch is a performance watch. Apple Watch is like a Batman watch. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
with like 3 minutes left, Dennis, I just want to give
Yes.
you one quick chance to give a shout out to anybody that you want to, guys down at work, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
knock
I have
yourself
one
hey,
out.
question for Dennis before we get off of this too. I have
yeah.
one question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, November is Diabetes Awareness Month. Okay. Now, as Andy knows, and maybe Ed knows, my son, one of my sons, my son Gabriel, is type 1 diabetic, and he was diagnosed when he was 9 years old. He's now 16. He's in high school. He has not let his disease limit or define him. He's truly my hero. I want to shout him out, and I want to shout out his football team, the Cary Grove High School
Nice.
Trojans. They
Yeah.
are participating in the IHSA playoffs here in the state of Illinois, and they won their first round game 49-6. And they
Right.
play again this Saturday against Highland Park. So go Trojans. I love you, Gabriel. You can find me on Twitter at Dennis Rose 25. It's mostly pictures of what I eat and my workouts, but my DMs are open. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to help.
And you also have an OnlyFans page.
Shh, we're gonna keep that between
I
us.
have one question for you, Dennis. I got
Yes,
one
sir.
question for you, and
It better not be about the Patriots.
No, keep it quick because we only got a minute.
I'm just gonna say this: is that the tooth looks like it's holding up pretty well.
Man, why you got to bring it? Where's
Hey.
Ryan Branco? Where's Ryan Branco? It's his fault.
So with that, I'm going to wrap it up right there. But Dennis, we're going to have you back on the show, and we're no more. It's going to be fun next time. We're going to be talking all chirping, bullshitting, just tearing everybody up like we usually do on the podcast. But I want to have you on so we can have
Yeah.
that round table, especially when football's going on like right now. So we'll work on that. So I'm going to cut it off right there. It was a fast half an hour. We could have probably talked for another probably half an hour. So yeah. Yeah. So look up Dennis on Twitter, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Love you.
Yeah, check him out on Twitter. He's got inspirational stories telling. He said if you want to hit him up for different questions that you have, you can do that through that. So let's move on from there, and let's talk about some sports stuff. Yeah, on the podcast. So Bobby,
we don't have we're too poor to have a dump button, okay?
Yeah, well, forget about that. Forget about that. There's no dump button. This is a one-shot deal. If somebody's stuttering, anything else, it's going to be on there. So buy a shirt.
Thumbs up.
No thumbs in. Hats on. Thumbs in. That we're saving that email question will be exclusive for the 50th episode. So stay tuned for that. There's more to. We'll do a deep dive into that one when it comes. Oh, no pun intended either.
Hey, he'll be here all night. He'll be here until 10:30.
Oh my God.
So Bobby Knight passed away. If you grew up in that certain generation, with Bird and Magic, Bobby Knight was like the college coach that everybody kind of talked about. I mean, on like ESPN clips and whatever. So, Tom, thoughts on Bobby Knight passing away?
The guy, he was a legend. I'll just say you'll never have another coach like him in this PC era. You'll never have a coach like him. And if you do, he'll never last as long as Bobby Knight. So, I mean, the guy, he gave you something to talk about. And this was during my heyday when I was watching college basketball all the time. And I just remember some of those teams, man. He's had some great players. And I think they said, I read today, he had like 80% of his players graduated on time. I mean, that's a pretty good stat for guys that are playing basketball going pro.
Any of you guys have thoughts on Bobby Knight's passing or
sure.
Go ahead, Ed.
Well, first and foremost, he's a truly iconic coach. For the four of us, I'd have to say that, with him and Mike Krzyzewski from Duke, those two guys, they both have ties to West Point, both great coaches. Bobby Knight, I believe, only had one college championship, and Mike had 5. I remember watching that clip of him throwing that chair across the gym. I mean, truly iconic. I have to agree with Tom. I mean, in today's era, that would never fly. But I mean, he really cared about his players, and he really made sure. I mean, to play, at that level, be the 1% of the 1%, and to get 80% of your kids to graduate, that truly is something to be said and held at high esteem. So you'll be missed.
So we haven't heard anything from the man underneath me, Chris. Thoughts on Bobby Knight, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I never
There
watched
he
much
is.
college basketball, but if you don't know Bobby Knight, the general, then you're a milk drinker living in your mother's cellar. You know what I mean? Like you can watch so many. You
just
can watch
offended half of
so many.
our fans, Chris.
You can watch so many sound bites of that dude and laugh for hours. The guy was just like you all said just around back. Like you'll never see that anymore nowadays. And he was definitely unique. We'll go with that.
Brad, real quick, Bobby Knight.
I mean, I just remember Bobby Knight just going 0 to 60, like that, and just ESPN was just like showing this dude just going in on somebody, and yeah, you'll never see another guy like that, man. Rough year for celebrity passings this year.
Oh,
though.
yeah,
Like,
big time.
tough.
2023 was not good.
Yeah, let's just make it to 24 already. Like, come on.
We
Jeez.
got 2 months to go, and who knows, right? With that stuff, you never know.
Who knows?
Speaking of celebrities that could drop dead at any time, a good time to talk about Ric Flair.
Jesus.
I mean, if you're talking about my favorites, Tom and Ed will attest to this. Since I was a kid, my favorite heel of all time, my favorite baby face of all time is Dusty Rhodes, and that rivalry when I was a kid. I could probably talk half an hour about it, but let's stay on the Ric Flair train.
Arcade 1985, baby.
Yep. Here's a guy just signed a deal with AEW. It's a multi-year deal. He's got a couple of things strung into the deal where they're going to be promoting his energy drink and a few other things that he promotes. So, before I answer any of this, let's go around the block. We got football picks to do, but thoughts on Ric Flair joining AEW for a multi-year contract? Tom, go.
I like it as long as it doesn't get in the ring. I mean, you're kind of getting these guys. They went from getting all the young guys, now they're starting to get a bunch of the older guys. So they can't really give WWE a hard time anymore about having the geriatric guys because, I mean, Flair's how old? Flair 70,
and he's up there, man.
He's like 60. I mean,
Jericho
is almost 50. I mean, they're getting up there in age. They're getting some. These guys are getting now. They're getting kind of old.
I think Edge is 50. I think Jericho's like 53. I think Flair's like 74.
Close,
Ed, thoughts? Ric Flair, AEW. Does it make you want to watch though? Does it make? No. Is it something that you're interested in?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. No, and the thing about it is that he is an icon, and I mean you and I know this for a fact because we watched this in your living room back in the day. I mean, bleach blonde hair with blood coming down through the middle of it, I mean, but to see it, I mean, I think it's a ratings grab by AEW. It's kind of a disappointment to see that they couldn't keep Tully there, they couldn't keep Arn there, and keep Rick there, and kind of do something with that circle, kind of groom something, kind of grow something organically, go for the long play, that type of thing. I feel like that this is kind of more of a ratings grab. Yeah, he's still the icon. I still watch him. I still love the snippets of his promos that he did. The non-contact Ric Flair stuff. Brad, you and I, we share that almost every day with each other. I mean, he is truly an icon. So, I'm glad that he's gonna get another payday. But I don't think it's gonna help ratings at all.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you segued into it and you were talking about, Ric Flair and the deaths that happened this year, I was thinking the same thing when I was watching AEW. I was just like, man, this guy's not looking that great, But then he started wooing it up and bouncing off the ropes a little bit. I was like, all right, maybe he still got it, a little bit left in him,
Yeah.
So, but the beating he's obviously done to himself. I think Christian mentioned something about his black liver, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, hopefully it's a run that, like Ed said, it's a money grab, and but good for him. You know what I mean? Like he was, when we talked about Mount Rushmore of WWE, he was up there in mine. I think he was up there in most of ours. So he's the best of the best, really. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, he's probably the last of the truly old school especially traveling world champions. They always said that, he was the last true traveling world champion, that, you're bouncing territory to territory for a week, and then, you're Japan too, and New Zealand, Australia, still that he was the last one. So Brad, real quick, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I mean, it's same as as y'all said, man. The guy's a living legend. Like, he literally exudes Mount Rushmore. Will always go down as one of the greats, but I'm just at a point where I care more for his safety than I do rating. It's been two or 3 years since he was literally on his deathbed, and they notified his friends and family that he may not pull through. His body went into shock and sepsis. Like, he was this close to already dying.
Right, but then they realized his foot was on the rope.
Yeah, his foot was on the rope. I'm like, buddy, it's take care of yourself, man. I hope he doesn't go out there and do something that's gonna, be traumatic or harmful to himself. I just want him to go out on top. And I feel like these grabs for these historic icons in wrestling, the AEW is just trying to push some ratings, and they're pulling all these old heads, and they're buying it because they need the money or they want the money. I'm like, just let them go. Give them a chance to ride off.
So maybe AEW should cash in, and I'll leave it with this. I'll give this one for free. They want to market Ric Flair and put some T-shirts out there. Instead of the dirtiest player in the game, they should change it to the dirtiest liver in the game.
Oh, there you go. Boom.
There you go. I just made $1 million.
Trademark Andy Clip.
So we'll put a pin in that. More to come. Of course, we got football picks to do, and also one of the better segments of the show, Tom Shitty Picks.
Buy the shirt. Stop being so cheap.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, buy some shirts. That way we can extend these Zoom meetings. Go, Tom.
All right. Can't really recap last week's pick because they haven't played yet, because we're a couple days early. So I'm going to go into the next week. And I'm going to go off the board this coming for this next week, and I'm going to go with running back Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks. They're playing against the Washington Commanders. Commanders just traded both of their starting defensive ends, and I think they're going to I think the team's probably going to mail it in the rest of the season. I think Walker will have a big game against them running.
Great. So, yeah, here we go. We'll do our what week is it, Tom? What week are we up to?
Week 10.
10.
We're 10. We're at 10.
10.
Week
Double
10.
digits.
We're 10.
With guest picker Chris this week too.
Chris, we're gonna get some picks from Chris.
Yes.
See how maybe we'll run the table. Who knows?
All right. Week 10, game 1. It's a snooze fest. Thursday night. Chicago Bears at home against the Carolina Panthers. Andy.
Bears.
Right. Chris.
Yeah, let's go Bears.
All right. Ed?
I'm going to go with the Bears.
All righty. How about you, Brad?
The Panthers are pretty bad right now, so the Bears.
Yeah, same sweep. I'm going with the Bears too, even with the backup quarterback. All right, second game. Kind of another snooze fest. It's going to be in Germany. The New England Patriots are playing against the Indianapolis Colts. Andy?
Colts.
All righty. Chris?
Pats are going to squeak one out on this one.
All righty. Ed?
I'm gonna go with the Patriots on that one, but it's gonna be a snooze fest.
All righty. How about you, Brad?
I'm sorry, Europe has to endure this football game, but Minshew Magic is my pick. Colts.
The Pats are going
The
to
man
squeak
has
one
thrown
out
like
like a
9
bad
picks,
fart.
man.
No,
He's given the ball away 9 times in the last past 3 games. How do you figure that one out?
What's that?
Not the Magic, man.
Minshew
He's
Magic?
got more magic than Mac Jones, so
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
I am going to go with Indy on this one. Third game, Cincinnati Bengals at home against the Houston Texans. Andy.
Bengals.
All righty. Chris?
Yeah, the Bungles locked in right now. They're gonna stop playing a lot better for the rest of the year. So
The Bugles.
Ed?
I'm going with the Bengals, man.
Yep. How about you, Brad?
Yeah, Bengals are rolling.
Yeah, they seem like they're hitting their stride. Burrows looks healthy. I'm going to go with them. The next game, Minnesota Vikings at home against the New Orleans Saints. Andy.
Vikings.
All righty. Chris?
hot and sold that team, Cousins and Jefferson, and now they got neither. So let's go Saints.
All right. Ed?
I'm gonna go with Who Dat Nation. They have been playing a little bit better, but Dennis Allen is not a guaranteed lock as a coach. And Andy, he's not an awfully big lock. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. I hear you.
How about
Insert
you, Brad?
Simpsons reference on that one.
Oh yeah, you know.
Brad?
Oh, Carr is cooking, man. So yeah, too many questions with the Vikes. I'm gonna go Saints.
Yeah, I'm going with all the injuries Minnesota got. I'm going to go with the Saints in this one.
Yep.
Next game, at home, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Green Bay Packers. Andy.
I haven't picked them yet this year, I don't think, but we'll go with Jerome Bettis and the Steelers.
All righty. Chris?
Growing up a Niner fan, it's hard to say the Packers in any term of a win, but the Packers will win easy.
It's
Alrighty.
just anything Packers is tough to say.
Ed?
I'm going with the Steelers, man.
Lay off the
How
fudge,
about you,
please.
Brad?
The Steelers find a way to win week to week. I don't know how they keep doing it. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. I watched that game last night, and they said Pittsburgh has been outgained in every game, and they're still 5-3. It's
They're
Yeah.
5-3.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go.
know,
with
I don't
Pittsburgh
know.
in this
They
one
probably
because-
have a writer from Pittsburgh, you know?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
All right. Next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against the Tennessee Titans. Andy.
Tampon Bay.
All righty. Chris.
Tennessee.
All righty. I knew I liked you. Ed.
Since I lived in the greater Tampa area, I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one.
And there's a reason why you don't.
Brad.
That there is. You are not.
So for this one, I got to
That's
make it
kinda
personal.
now, don't you think?
The story is you're only peeing next to a playground. That's the story.
Shut up, you pedo.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
For me, I'm gonna make it
Peter.
personal. My friend Jason said the Rangers got lucky in Game 1 of the World Series, and he's a Bucks fan, so I'm gonna pick the Titans. That's my only justification.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm a Titans fan. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay this game. Tennessee didn't look
What?
very good last night.
No
I'm
heart.
gonna go with my heart, not with my
What the hell is the matter with you?
my brain,
Are
not
you
my
okay?
heart. Hey, we're fighting for first place, Ed. I gotta go with my my brains.
All right, I didn't know we were going that way. So I got to roll up the sleeves, I guess, and huh?
Yep. Take
All
the
right.
blue crayon out of your nose and let's go.
Next
Yeah.
game, Jacksonville
but it tastes better
Jaguars
that way.
versus San Francisco 49ers. Andy.
I'll go with Pat Patterson and the 49ers.
All righty. Chris.
Yeah, this will be a tough one with the way the Niners are skidding, but I think they got to get back on track. So Niners.
All righty. Ed.
I'm just gonna say this: Tom Rathman is not walking out that door, but they have a good team, and I think they're gonna win.
All righty. Brad.
I think it's gonna be one of the better games we see all year. Trevor Lawrence, I think, gets the edge on Brock Purdy with the hair, so I'm gonna go with the Jaguars
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville too. I think it's the game of the week by far this week.
by far.
Yeah. All right. Next game. Baltimore Ravens at home against the Cleveland Browns. Andy.
Ravens.
All righty. Chris.
I need a big game from the 2 running backs from Cleveland to help my fantasy team this week. So let's go Cleveland.
All righty. Ed.
I'm going with the Ravens because I don't think that Mr. Massage is going to be it. He's going to be playing at 100% for the Browns.
Mm-mm.
How about you, Brad?
Oh, Ravens for that one.
Yeah, I'm going with Ravens too. They're kind of sneaking under the radar with in the AFC. Nobody really
They
talking
really
about
are.
them yet.
Ed, you
Gotta
never
bring-
met a massage you didn't like,
That is true.
Next game,
especially those strip mall ones. Those are the best.
another snooze fest.
I
Arizona
learned from you,
Cardinals.
okay?
Arizona Cardinals at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Andy.
The Atlanta Falcons.
All righty, Chris.
Yeah, toss up. Let's go with the Falcons.
Two
Alrighty.
shitbirds in that game.
Ed,
What?
Eddie.
What? I don't even know. I'm going to go with the Falcons in that game.
All right. How about you, Brad?
Yeah, Dirty Birds.
Yeah, clean sweep. I'm going with the Falcons as well. Next game, another decent game. Los Angeles Chargers at home against the Detroit Lions. Andy.
I'll take the Lions so that the three other fans will have somebody to root with.
Chris.
Montgomery hopefully will be back. So they got that two-headed monster running back, and they're gonna run all over LA, Detroit.
Ed.
Well, Webster is not going to walk out that door, but I'm going to. Neither is Alex Karras, but I will go with the Lions on this one.
All righty, Brad.
Man, I think the Chargers are really underwhelming, under 500 right now. I've been saying the Lions are severely underrated all season. I'm gonna go with Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit. I think this might be there's a rumors online that if the Chargers lose this game, they may end up firing the coach. So we'll see what happens.
See that?
Next game, Dallas Cowboys at home against the New York Giants. Andy.
I'm here to make friends, so I'll go Cowboys.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, growing up an Irish fan, another hard name
Just
to
think,
say, but
you gave
Dallas
the
will
LA
win.
Knight answer on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's an old school reference right there.
Yeah.
Ed.
You know, since I was just informed about 4 minutes ago in this podcast that we are fighting over first place, that it is for blood. So I was going to go with the Giants to hassle Brad, but since we are playing for blood now, I'm going with the Cowboys. Okay.
Well, Ed, I think Tom meant him and Brad, not you and him.
Brad, how about you in this game?
Man. Dak Prescott I think has only lost to the Giants once ever in his whole career. So Cowboys all the way.
All righty. Next game, Seattle Seahawks at home against the Washington Commanders. Andy.
Seahawks.
All right. Chris.
Yeah, Seahawks.
Yep. Ed.
I'm going with the Seahawks, man.
All righty. How about you, Brad?
Yeah, 12th man, way better football team. Let's go.
Yep. I agree. Clean sweep, Seattle. All right. Sunday night game, the Las Vegas Raiders at home against the New York Jets. Andy.
Another team I haven't picked yet, Jets.
Nice.
Chris.
Yeah, man, Jets.
All righty. Ed.
This kills me to say this, but I'm going to go with the Jets.
All righty. How about you, Brad?
Oh yeah, Jets.
They're going to win just on defense. They're not going to need Wilson to do anything in this game.
And
yeah, defense will win that one.
We've also established that even because Brad's from the South, he can't spell. But go ahead.
last
I was
game
waiting for it. I was waiting.
He wanted to show off. He's just showing off.
Last game of the week, the Buffalo Bills at home against the Denver Broncos. Andy.
Bills.
All righty. Chris.
Bills.
All right. Ed.
There is a little bit of life in Denver, but I just can't do it. I'm going to go with the Bills.
All righty. Brad.
I don't know. The Broncos beat the Chiefs last week, so I'm still going to go with the Bills, though.
Suspense. All right. I'm
Yeah.
clean sweep. I'm going with Buffalo as well. All right, AC. That's the last game.
So we only got about 4 minutes left. The clock's ticking. So Tom, I want to do the album of the week and do our lead-in for that. And
Sure. All right. This week's Record of the Week is brought to you by Purchase Street Records, which is located at 53 Popes Island, Unit 2, New Bedford, Mass. Or you can visit them online at purchasestreetrecords.com and also on their Facebook page. Purchase Street Records is Southern New England's largest independent record store.
Hey, it's Scarpetti from 94HJY back at Purchase Street Records. I know. Roger's been giving me a lot of crap because I've not been able to come down here. I'm sorry, Roger. It's nothing personal.
Aren't you
blame
supposed to be
Doug.
on the air right now?
No, blame Doug. It's all his fault. He works me too hard. But anyway, I'm back with my pick, and my choice this time is Typo Negative's The Least Worst Stuff. And now, I'm not usually one to recommend a greatest hits album, but there's some cool stuff on here that I just am like, you have to do it. I think it's a good entry point if you're not familiar with Typo Negative, but also there's some stuff on here that has not been released. Like Stay Out of My Dreams is a fantastic song, and a song that if you listen to it, you're like, whoa, these guys almost sound like the Beatles. Like you hear it in there, and it's something I always tell people about Typo Negative, and they hear Black Number One, and they're like, what are you talking about? No, these guys are legit, they're awesome, and they're dearly missed as a band, and of course, Pete Steele, rest in peace. So if you're coming by Purchase Street Records, check out my pick, grab one for yourself, and see what I'm talking about. It's 94HJY, Purchase Street Records.
So we got maybe 3 minutes left. So just quick shout outs. Everybody get something in real quick. And then we'll wrap up this episode. It went by so fast. Go ahead, Tom.
All right. My shout out is to the San Jose Sharks for being so bad. They are 0-9-1, and they've only scored 10 goals on the season.
I love it. It's like street hockey.
As a team, they've combined for 27 points on the whole team.
I love it.
Jack Hughes has 20 by himself for the Devils. They're historically bad.
Right.
That's all I can say.
There's a running joke that they should play an exhibition game against any AHL team, and the AHL team would probably beat them. That's how bad they are. But just keep throwing teams in the league, and that's what happens. Chris, you got a shout out this week?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to shout out to all my parents on my Panthers hockey team. You know, I went out there with the jersey. We had the game at the Providence Bruins Dunkin' Donuts Center or Pavilion, whatever it's called now. And I got a lot of questions about the shirt. You know, they love the shirt. You know, they were asking about it. So hopefully got some more eyes on there. John Tevez, Carlos, you know, a couple of good guys that I coach with. Hopefully we get some more eyes here watching the show. So, and a couple of parents too that were intrigued by the shirt and asking what it was all about. So
cool. Brad, Ed, anything real quick?
Last week I was saying the Rangers were 1-1, but not done. This week I'm celebrating a world championship. So that's my shout out. Go Rangers.
You're not shouting out Scott Stapp? Come on.
Ed?
Oh man, that too. Hey,
Push
and
me,
I'm
spin
finna
them.
buy
These versus
tickets
the
to a
guy.
Creed concert. Creed's gonna be in concert next year, September, in Brandon, Mississippi. Your boy gonna be in the front row.
Oh, so bad. So bad. Oh, and
I'm decked out in full Ranger swag. Going. Has to happen.
Save this podcast, Ed.
Raining Blood by Slayer.
Yeah, that's
it. Anything Slayer, just save any moment at all. So yeah, with that, we're gonna wrap this up. 38 episodes in the book, growing week by week, and everybody on the podcast this week is wearing something related to the show. That's good support. And who would have thought that Super Bowl week we would have been doing this well halfway through the first year. So stay tuned, more to come, probably more interviews, working on some other people, and it's going to be good. So I want to thank Chris for coming back on. I know his schedule kind of limits certain things that we do, but thanks, Chris, for coming on, and thanks everybody.
Chris.
yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Chris, man. Good to talk with you, man.
Thanks,
Later
Chris.
on.